Kolbrin Bible, Book 4, Sons of Fire, Chapter 10, The Rolls of Record, 4. SOF 10:1. Now even in the days of Hoskiah, the records were not whole, and Hoskiah caused it to be that this was written. It was set down in the manner of Kahadamos. SOF 10:2. It is written in the book of Mithraim. The true man has many qualities, and among the greatest is the inclination towards his duty. A man has a duty to his soul, to his God, to those who govern, and to his household. SOF 10:3. The weakling runs in battle and says, "See, I have done my duty. I am alive." The true man stands resolute and grim. His enemies are like chaff before the wind. He is the master of life. Duty is the goddess of manhood, and she demands no mean sacrifice. SOF 10:4. The grim goddess says, "Die," and the true man steps forward. The ranks of the everlasting lords of life open, and he takes his place among them. SOF 10:5. Duty says glory and honor will never be yours. Your miserable lot is to labor in the brick pits so that your wife and children will not go hungry. The true man faces his task with fortitude and cheerfulness. SOF 10:6. Courage is the greatest quality of manliness, and duty the greatest expression of courage. What chastity is to women, duty is to man, the willingly assumed burden of their kind. Man and women travel the same road together, but each bears a different burden. SOF 10:7. Hoskiah said, "This shall be added to the records. Even the wild beasts have a duty to perform, for duty is the handmaiden of life. All things that have life have a duty, for life itself is duty. When a man has no obligations, he is dead." SOF 10:8. The greater the standing of a man, the greater is his duty. The captain of men shall serve better than the footman. Greater men have greater duties. Lesser men have lesser duties. Wherever there is life, there is danger. SOF 10:9. It is written in the book of Mithraim. The true man is generous in words and deed. Meanings has no place with him. He who gives with one hand gathers with the other. SOF 10:10. It is also written thus: all men must seek to rise above their estate. They either rise or are cast down. Only man knows discontent and seeks to improve his lot, for discontent is the marker of a man. SOF 10:11. Hoskiah added this to the records: aim your arrow above your expectations. The man who sends an arrow towards the moon shoots further than the one who sends it to a treetop. Choose your bow according to your strength. A strong bow without a strong arm is of no more value than a weak bow. Judge a man by his aim and not by his bow. A plain bow for service, a fancy bow for display. The strongest bow ever made is useless without an arrow. SOF 10:12. Hoskiah said, "These are things which are written, but have been lost. Let them be recorded again. Success is the child of diligence and persistence. It follows the footsteps of the wise, even as failure dogs the foolish. Men have the choice of either success or ease. They cannot have both. To be beaten and still not surrender, that is true victory." SOF 10:13. Failure is the yardstick of success. It alone adds value to achievement, but there can be no real failure except through the acceptance of failure. SOF 10:14. These things were added to the records, but we cannot tell when, though it is said by Hoskiah, "The manly spirit rejoices in freedom and cannot bear the yoke of servitude. It will admit no master who imposes his will by force." SOF 10:15. A man may submit to leadership and command in warfare and be a better man, for true service is not servility. Never demand your rights before you have earned them. SOF 10:16. A man is unworthy of freedom unless he also recognizes the rights of others to freedom. The freeman is his own governor, and his rule is more rigorous than that of a despot. The only man entitled to be free is the one who governs himself strictly and wisely. SOF 1017. Every nation moves either towards freedom or towards servility, for none can remain suspended between the two. It is free men, if they are weak, who are the greatest enemies of freedom. Great events do not make either heroes or cowards, they just unveil them to the eyes of men. SOF 1018. Hoskiah caused this to be written, saying, "This too was once written, but is now lost to us by decay. The way of the evildoer is the path of sleeplessness. The wicked follow a road of darkness. They tread in constant fear of falling." SOF 1019. The evildoer is caught by his own wrongdoing. He is imprisoned by his own wickedness. The evildoer becomes trapped in a snare of his own making. He flees when none pursues. SOF 1020. It is truly said, the wicked in heart praise the wicked in deed. More men think wicked thoughts than commit wicked deeds, for many who would act are cowards. Observe the man who talks much about the deeds of wicked men. Would he not be among them did he not lack the courage? SOF 1021. This was written in records which were lost even in the days of Rechab. In 100 generations men will be less wicked, for such was written in the plans of God. When 1,000 years have passed, women will be more fair, for this was written in the plans of God. SOF 1022. A day will come when great nation will rise above all others to lead the nations of earth, and it will survive even the day of visitation. Much was written of this nation, which is now lost. SOF 1023. As the generations pass, the earth will become more fruitful, for this was written in the plans of God. SOF 1024. The body of the great God contains all that is, and his spirit is contained in all that is. The spirit is perfect, but the body is imperfect. SOF 1025. Hoskiah said, "Let this now be written, for it was written before. No man shall walk in ways set against the will of the people. No man shall bear an unjust grudge or take personal vengeance unjustly." Kolbrin Bible, Book 4, Sons of Fire, Chapter 11, The Rolls of Record, 5, SOF 11:1. Supreme One, above greatness, illuminate the hearts of my people, and let them see the path ahead. Permit them to understand the meaning of life. Make their hearts fearful for the responsibility they carry with regard to the future state of their souls. To this end, help them towards achieving a humble spirit and a kindly heart. Grant them some glimpse of eternity while here on earth, so that they may better understand what lies before them. Bestow upon them the ability to make contact with the font of wisdom and truth, and let them draw near the well of holiness to sip its waters. Help them to make right judgments and guide their hearts, so they hold fast to the teachings of our masters who have gone before. Make them steadfast in the light, and show them the falsity that glitters in the darkness. When they come to the end of their journey, Supreme One, above greatness, grant them immortality in the region of eternal light. Incline towards them in mercy, for you can even mitigate the impress of wickedness upon their everlasting souls. SOF 11:2. Our masters taught that the soul of man is the seed of a spirit implanted within the body of a beast. Supreme One, above greatness, send down the refreshing waters of your wisdom and compassion upon my people, that the seed may be nourished within them, to spring to life in the land of light. If the seed wither within the body, or be consumed by the beast, we are condemned to the doom of everlasting nothingness. Let none of my people suffer this, for even the most wicked among them will be missed by others in the region of eternal light. SOF 11:3. Supreme One above greatness, who reads the hearts of men as an unrolled book, what can I ask for myself? I, who though first in rank among my people, fall far below many of them in strength of soul. I am a man of battles and not a man of prayer. Therefore I cannot know how I stand with you. SOF 11:4. Indeed, Supreme One, above greatness, I have brought about much sorrow and suffering in my days. The burden of my manhood is weighed down heavily upon me. But, Supreme One, above greatness, I have never robbed the widow or fatherless, or struck at the helpless, and those without protection. I have not mocked the afflicted, or stood aside in fear when wickedness was being done. I have slain no man unless he has been my enemy, and would have slain me. When I served any man, I served him well. I have never deserted a friend in distress, or violated the sanctity of another man's home. Yet, Supreme One above greatness, I have done much that men condemn, and therefore cannot know my standing before you. Yet, however, I stand in your eyes. Do not consider me too unworthy to plead for my people. SOF 11:5. I was not born among those who are now my people. I am not of their blood, and once I called upon the God of my fathers, after the manner of my fathers. Yet are you not the same being, by whatever name called? You are the being before whom my spirit bows, the sustainer of its strength. You alone know the conflict which has twisted my heart in its resting place. For I cannot know what, indeed, is truth. I do not expect to know, being unworthy of such knowledge. I did not desert you, but sought only to see you more clearly and serve you better. When I could not understand you in one place, I sought you in another. I looked for you where there was more light. Amid the people of my youth, you seemed close, yet I could not understand you, for they wished to enclose you in a box. Now, though you appear further away, I see more clearly and know your nature. SOF 11:6. Supreme One, above greatness I cannot say, as others do, that I have no doubts. For indeed, I am often torn with conflicting thoughts. I do not doubt your existence, for I have been granted a manifestation of its reality. But I am full of doubts about my relationship with you. Then, too, there is so much I cannot understand. Yet others turn to me for guidance when I make an error affecting only myself. I do not complain about the consequences, but should I guide others into error, my heart will be torn apart. SOF 11:7. God of my father and father of my soul, incline towards me a little, for of myself I cannot reach you. Enlighten me so that I may lead others into the light. Death and destruction I do not fear, not even everlasting nothingness, but I do fear being inadequate for my task. Supreme One above greatness, give me confidence and strength. I ask no more. If I cannot find these with you, I can find them nowhere. Guide me, Supreme One above greatness. What shall I do for my people? SOF 11:8. This was not written for the eyes of men, but will he who wrote it object if by being recorded for men, it adds even a mite to the storehouse of goodness available to men on earth?